Knox Presbyterian Church Ottawa was founded in 1844. This landmark building is the congregation's third church home. The second church was demolished when City Hall Square was absorbed into a widened Elgin Street. The proceeds from expropriation and an optimistic outlook during the Great Depression inspired the congregation to great dreams. These dreams were given architectural form by Henry Sprout, who also designed the National Research Council building on Sussex Drive and many buildings on the University of Toronto campus. The building combines two architectural themes. The main building is neo-Gothic. The tower is Norman, but with two Gothic flying buttresses. The north wall ends at the minister's study, which overlooks a heritage building now incorporated into City Hall. City Hall and Knox are neighbors a second time. Although the site originally contained a single large house, the architect made maximum use of every centimeter. A large and carefully maintained garden adds trees and flowers to the variety of Elgin Street. Windows look down on it from the sanctuary, an upstairs meeting room, and a downstairs hall. Under the site lies a layer of Ottawa's challenging clay-based soil. The sanctuary section of the building sits on a massive concrete pad, which floats on the clay.
My name is Reverend Jim Pott, and I'm the minister of Knox, and I've been privileged to be here since 2015. As we enter the sanctuary, I'd like to acknowledge our Indigenous forebears, particularly the Algonquin peoples, who have been here since time immemorial. This sacred space reminds us that we are part of a story that's much bigger than ourselves. Our congregation's stated mission is this: we are a Christian community seeking to grow in knowledge of Jesus Christ and to live our lives as he teaches us. It's here in this sanctuary we gather as a congregation for weekly Sunday worship, exploring themes of how to live our mission. We have Bible readings, prayers, singing of hymns, a choir leading us, and sermons with themes of hope, justice, forgiveness, welcoming, inclusion, diversity. The church also hosts monthly midweek jazz services right here in the sanctuary, and the space is also available and rented often by community groups such as choirs, orchestras. It's a great place for concerts. It's a wonderful live acoustic setting. The Knox Sanctuary is also a very popular choice for weddings in our city, especially for couples that are looking for a classic traditional setting with a center aisle, of course. And I do often have to warn couples that walking down this center aisle might take a little bit of practice, because it's probably one of the longest aisles in the city. When I'm leading a worship service or a wedding ceremony, or at times even especially during a funeral, I'm reminded this space was designed to help us look beyond our present circumstances, not ignoring them, especially when times are tough or even when times are great, but to always remember that God is with us, has been in the past, is in the present, and will always be.
The design of the church and the spare ornamentation reflect the architectural style of Reformation churches, favoring simplicity and a minimal approach to decoration. There are stained glass windows at the east and west ends of the sanctuary, but the side windows admit unhindered shafts of sunlight. There are very few memorial plaques, aside from the large memorials to those who served in the 2 world wars. The long list of names are a startling reminder of how deeply global crises disrupted the lives of 2 generations of Canadians. A regimental flag from the Canadian Expeditionary Force of the First World War is preserved in a cabinet near the war memorials. Again echoing the preferences in Reformation church architecture, there is no altar, but a prominent lectern and a dominant pulpit emphasize the priority of the Bible and sermons with reflections on the Christian message. The beauty of the interior and exterior reflect the materials chosen to enhance the design. Stone and marble were sourced in France, Italy, Nova Scotia, and Nepean. They are complemented by the ceiling of British Columbia cedar. Pews and choir stalls are of red oak. Hardware for windows, doors, and light fixtures were imported from England. Gothic themes are carved into the ends of the pews. Looking up, we see stone carvings in the corbel stones supporting the ceiling. Among them, the flag of St. Andrew, a Scottish thistle, a lion rampant, and a phoenix rising from the ashes. As we enter the chancel area, we find more elaborate carvings on the choir pews, and a beautiful Cassavant organ, nestled behind the pulpit, but now equipped with a sliding platform so that it can be on view during an organ recital. Opposite is a set of decorative pipes. A careful look reveals the real pipes behind the ornamental ones. At the end of the chancel is the communion table, with seats used by elders during a communion service set into the wall. When the church was built, a huge window emplacement with stone tracery was included to eventually house a stained glass window. Knox held a competition for the design, which was won by Willie Wilson, a prominent Scottish stained glass artist. He built the window in his Edinburgh studio. It was shipped to Ottawa in 1955 and installed by Wilson. The window features the Nativity of Jesus with the Star of Bethlehem at the center. Also depicted are the introduction of Jesus to temple elders, his ancestor David, and the prophet Isaiah, who foretold the coming of Christ. The four gospel writers are pictured along with animal symbols traditionally assigned to them. Details of the window illustrate Wilson's knowledge of Christian symbolism and history. John Knox appears on a panel on the right wearing wooden shoes, referring to his period of exile in Holland. A rooster weather vane, an apparently peculiar addition, is a symbol for St. Peter. At the summit of the window is a white dove, the image for the Holy Spirit. Under it is the burning bush, on fire but not consumed, the symbol of the Presbyterian Church in Canada. The phoenix rising from the ashes, a symbol of the resurrection, appears again. 20 years later, after installing the great east window, Wilson designed the stained glass window on the west end of the church, above the gallery. He did not personally build and install it, as he had tragically become blind from diabetes. This window features images from the book of Revelation, including a depiction of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. This image, with horsemen representing the four curses of mankind, conquest, war, famine, and death, is a powerful and well-known metaphor for misery and death even in this secular age. From the balcony there is a superb view down the length of the church. Also visible is a recent addition. A control panel for new video cameras and a state-of-the-art sound system was installed at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, so that worship services would remain accessible to the congregation and guests. Off to one side is a second set of organ echo pipes. On the opposite side, lit by a large window and popular with wedding parties, is a quiet sitting area. While other areas of Knox are more functional than architecturally striking, they support Knox's many activities and are increasingly a resource for the Centretown community. Geneva Hall, once set up for movies and badminton, is now widely used for church and community events, choir rehearsals, and coffee hour after the church service. The sprung wooden floor is ideal for dance groups. The upstairs parlor is used for committee meetings, including meetings of the church elders, but is also popular with local groups seeking a quiet place for discussions. Among the pictures on the wall are illustrations of all three churches occupied by the congregation over its long history. The designers showed great foresight in providing Knox with a large downstairs hall beneath the sanctuary and a spacious kitchen. At the front of Iona Hall is a large mural painting of the Scottish Holy Isle, which gives the space its name. The hall is ideal for large gatherings, such as congregational dinners and community service organizations. At the start of World War II, Knox was asked by defense officials from their new temporary headquarters nearby to provide a lunch service for defense staff. The Ladies' Guild organized a cafeteria which was busy throughout the war. The serving window is still visible, although painted over. Today, Iona Hall and its kitchen are the central facility for Knox's community mission, Out of the Cold, which has been serving meals Saturday evenings November through March to those in need for over 25 years. During the COVID pandemic, the service provided takeaway meals and was extended through the summer months with the title Neighbors in Need. The program has been strongly supported not only by the Knox congregation, but by residents of Centertown who have volunteered to prepare and serve meals. Downtown residents have contributed financial support, and businesses have provided food at low cost. A very helpful grant from the federal government recognized the program's contribution to the community. A tour of Knox ends, fittingly, in the vestry, or study, of Knox's minister, Reverend Jim Pott. In the Presbyterian model of governance, the congregation votes on who will be called to be the church's minister, and elders are elected to the Kirk Session, the central governing body. Still, it is the responsibility of the minister to shape the worship service and lead the congregation in its exploration of Christian life and mission.
I hope you enjoyed and were inspired by some of the beauty in Knox Church, and perhaps even got a bit of a taste of the mission of our church community, both in the past as well as the present. This room is called the vestry, or more commonly known as a church office or a minister's study. It's where I meet with people from our church and from our community, and it's also where I enjoy the company of my many friends on the bookshelves around me, who help me prepare weekly meditations and sermons for Sunday. It's a great space which echoes many of the architectural elements from the rest of the sanctuary and the building. This room, this entire building, is solid. Even as the times are changing around us, just like the clay underneath the church's foundation. Through this building on the corner of Elgin and Lisker, we're doing our best to navigate the changes around us, and doing so with a sense of hope, justice, grace, and peace.